In this video, we are going to discuss the World Wide Web, its history, and its three generations. The web is a repository of information that is scattered around the world. It is often confused with the Internet. The Internet is a collection of small networks interconnected through telecommunication networks. However, the web is an information management application that operates on top of the Internet like other applications such as email, file transfer, and remote login. Web gives users access to a lot of documents connected together through hyperlinks. It relies on HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, for data exchange between clients and servers. Users on the client side send HTTP requests through their web browsers. Web browsers render and display web documents in a user-friendly format. On the server side, all of the received HTTP requests are going to be processed and then replied to through HTTP replies. The web has a client-server architecture, and web documents are developed in HTML language. The history of the web dates back to 1989, when scientists working at CERN, the European Organization for Particle Physics, needed an information system to share their results and avoid duplication. Tim Berners-Lee was a computer scientist that invented the first web server and its protocol, HTTP. Tim said, "In those days, there was different information on different computers, but you had to log on to different computers to get at it. Also, sometimes you had to learn a different program on each computer. Often it was just easier to go and ask people when they were having coffee." Tim's initial proposal was not immediately accepted. His boss at the time, Mike Sendall, noted the words "vague but exciting" on the cover. By October 1990, Tim had written the three fundamental technologies that remain the foundation of today's web. First is the HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, which is a formatting language for the web. URL, Uniform Resource Locator, is a kind of address that is unique and used to identify each resource on the web. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, allows retrieval of linked resources from across the web. Berners-Lee's invention revolutionized the Internet by creating a simple and easy-to-use information retrieval system. The initial version was just for automated information sharing between scientists in universities and research institutes around the world. Web gained popularity when the first browser called Mosaic came to the market in 1993. It was developed by Mark Andreessen and his team at University of Illinois. In 1995, Microsoft released its web browser called Internet Explorer. It was initially based on Mosaic and worked on Windows 95 operating system. Apple's Safari was released in 2003 as the default browser on Macintosh personal computers and later on iPhones in 2007 and iPads in 2010. Since the first release of the web, it has gone through three generations, and each generation builds upon the previous version by filling its gaps and addressing new needs. Web 1 encompasses the period between 1992 and 2003. The HTML pages were static with fixed contents. The role of a user was limited to reading the information provided by the content producers. There was no option for users to communicate back the information to the content producer. During this time, Jeff Bezos started Amazon, which was a revolution in business. Traditional businesses called brick-and-mortar companies used to market their products through their showcase and other marketing tools such as catalogs and advertisements. Customers had to make a trip to the store to pick up their needed items and then go back home. However, e-businesses such as Amazon and eBay created an environment where people could buy their items online without worrying about the payment and after-sale services. The distinguishing feature of Web 1 was the static web pages, which allows users to see the contents of the web page. However, users could not participate in creating contents or even interact with the web page. Web 2 refers to the time period after the year 2004, and it continues even now. It also refers to the websites that emphasize user-generated content and ease of use. Web 2 documents are developed using scripting languages such as JavaScript that allows developers to create dynamic web pages. In this era, every user can be a content producer, and content is distributed between sites. Some of the famous Web 2 applications are Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Wikipedia. In contrast to static web pages in which users cannot make any changes, dynamic web content is created once the request is received from the user. For example, on Amazon, users can find their favorite items by selecting some criteria such as item condition and its shipping place. Web 2 is also known as user participatory web, which allows users to create web contents. Social media such as Facebook and YouTube came into existence in the Web 2 era. Web 2 enabled users to interact with each other through social media to form virtual communities. For example, Wikipedia is a user participatory platform for creating contents. Web 3 is an idea for the new generation of the web, which uses decentralized architecture and technologies such as blockchain and cryptocurrencies. The basic idea behind Web 3 is that individuals will get more control of the internet. That represents a transition from big companies controlling and monetizing content on the internet to individual creators sharing content through decentralized networks. The goal is for Web 3 to be collectively controlled and managed by ordinary users to democratize access to the internet. These networks rely on open protocols, allowing anyone to connect and participate, and shift power away from big companies toward individual creators. So Web 3 would replace these centralized corporate platforms with open protocols and community-run networks. It is the combination of open infrastructure of Web 1 with public participation of Web 2. Web 3 has been a topic of debate for a while, and it has its own proponents and opponents. Proponents argue that Web 3 platforms could be run democratically in a way that Web 2 platforms aren't. They believe that high-tech giants like Facebook and Twitter can unilaterally ban accounts or change their rules. However, a blockchain-based social network could delegate those decisions to users who could decide how to handle them. For example, Axie Infinity is a video game developed by the Vietnamese game studio Sky Mavis. It uses cryptocurrencies to reward players with real money for achieving in-game objectives.